Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds. Let's get into our packages that we have. We did the nukes in the last video, and let's see how these guys are doing. I hope they haven't gotten a little too far ahead of us. I should have done this last week. Again, the packages, we got them, I believe it was the 2nd of April installed. So we are right now, like right dead center in the middle of May. So the honey flow is still going. I know our season's going to drop off the face of the earth. And remember, the earth is not flat, but that's just a metaphor. But our bees are going to hit a dearth period, and it is really rough here in Tennessee. Once it gets to about the first day of June, I mean, sometimes it'll be the end of May. We'll just pollen, nectar, gone. So we'll have to really start feeding those things, and that's when it really gets interesting, because anybody can keep bees during a prime honey flow, unless they swarm out and then somebody else is keeping your bees, or Mother Nature has your bees. But when it comes to wintering bees and the dearth period with bees, that is when things get interesting. And that's why that's really the majority of the variables. People like to talk about, oh, beekeeping's different for everybody. All these bees are different. Bees really aren't that different. Some are a little bit more inclined to have tendencies than others, but ultimately a honeybee is a honeybee is a honeybee. Some of them might be a little bit more aggressive towards swarming. Some might be a little bit better at collecting pollen. Small little variables in there, but ultimately good bee management is the most important thing, and knowing how to respond to what the bees are doing, and understanding when you're looking at the bees what the heck is going on. So folks that live in places that have really good flows can even make honey off of their packages the first year. Guys like me, that's not happening, and most of us experience that. But those are some of the differences, because let's say you hive these things up in Wisconsin around the same time I do, maybe a couple weeks later. Your flow's not going to start for a long time after mine, so if you can feed them along and get them beefed up to about the size they are now when your flow starts, you actually might get a little honey off of yours, especially if you have drawn comb, because that stuff is so important. Sorry about that last video, I got a little carried away, but it really bothers me when people are just saying absolute lies. When someone's telling you something that it's very clear and obvious that it's otherwise, I just don't see why they feel like they need to do that. All right, let's get into these things. The packages. That's what we're here for. Shut up, Kamon. Let's work some bees. All right, this is supposedly the smallest one of the 3 packages, because we swiped that frame from this one. Now we're going to stick the veil on. Look at the entrances though. We have opened them up. We've got them out. It doesn't matter that they're all the way open right now. They're more than capable of taking care of themselves when there's a flow going on. Now when the dearth period comes on, I'm going to reduce the entrances probably down to 3 inches, give or take. I'll have it like this right here. I'll just have it stuck in and probably just cracked open like that. And that'll give them enough. They've got to be able to fan and cool themselves down. Ooh, they're bringing in that yellow pollen today. But they need to be able to defend themselves. And see, it depends. See, if you only have a couple hives like these right here, it's not that big of a deal in the entrance. They'll rob with each other. That's why it's good to reduce them. But when you have dozens and dozens of big colonies, and when the dearth hits, bees will rob each other out. The best thing you can do is have a good reducer, and more importantly, a healthy hive. Healthy hives are the best defense for any disease and problems. The only thing that healthy hives don't defend good against is really varroa mites. And that's where the beekeeper comes in and helps them out. Alright, so they're getting over here on this foundation. We're going to go ahead and add a box to this one. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fully drawn combs, and this one's the 8th one. This is when I'd like to add the next box, is when they get this strong. You can do it a little bit before this and it'll be okay. Now another thing that we're going to do, that's just honey. They're starting on this one, so we're going to rotate this one around. Let's pull this out. Okie doke. Now what we're wanting to find is some larvae. Let's go over here more towards the middle. That's mostly capped on that side. I see capped on this one over here. This one looks like it has emerging brood on it. So we are going to see if the queen's been laying it up. Whoa! Sorry, bee. Alright. Yes, sirree. There's eggs down in there. There's larvae. Now, for those of you who don't know, this right here is drone comb. They got a little creative with our foundations here, but they need some drones. But we want mostly workers. This is the bee bread up in here. Look at all those vibrant collars. That stuff is really nutritious, and next year we're planning on getting a pollen trap and catching some pollen and showing you how to do that. We're excited about that. But there's larvae down in there. Just make sure we don't get the queen emerging brood. Yeah, we're going to take this frame and rotate it up. Alright, so what we're going to do is take this frame of foundation and we're going to rotate that in here. And then we're going to need a couple more. I think this is a little package compared to the other two, mainly because we took that one frame that had that cell and that brood on it, so it slowed them down. Let's stick this one here. And some people call this checkerboarding. I call it just rotating the frames in. Alright. That's awesome. Scooch, bees. Now we're just going to throw this frame right here in the middle with this foundation. Make sure you always scooch your frames back together. Now we will drop them down to 9 once they've drawn everything out. That's the way I prefer to do it. You don't have to do it like that. And it helps if you have 10 frames. Alright, this one's done. Let's go a little bit faster and get to the next ones. I'm hoping we don't have any that are building swarm cells. Alright, so we could have put this back in there. That's where the extra frame was. I was like, where did that frame go? There was a feeder in there. But you could have just stuck the feeder right back in this side and just let them draw those other ones out. That works just fine. Oh yeah, these bees are ready for a box. We'll have to check underneath on this one and see if they have any swarm cells. Alright, they've drawn that one out pretty good. Just kind of checking to make sure the edge frames. Bees draw much better towards the center than they do towards the edges. Some people will argue that's why 10 frames aren't as good for your hives, because there's just too wide of a space, but they seem to do pretty good for me. Alright, they're drawing this one really good, which is the 9th frame. Starting that one, so we'll rotate that one in towards the center. One thing we don't want to do is take some brood that is like really young stuff and isolate it off to the side by itself. This would be a good example. It's got all kinds of larvae down in there. It's got some natural honey up top. We had a great blackberry flow, and we have a visitor up here. Queen bee down there in the channel looking for places to lay. So we're not hauling her up. Okay, this one's capped brood. That's going to be hatching out pretty soon. So we're going to take that one, and then we're going to take this one that gives them 2 to lay on. You know what? We might just take this one as well. That's a good larva frame. We'll rotate this one up. And since they're drawing out this one pretty well, we'll just stick it right over here. They'll want to draw that to get the queen some more room to lay. I have not been feeding these things, by the way. I averaged about a quart a week until they started getting around 6-7 frames of bees. I've been meaning to keep better track of the feeding and everything, but I have just not been able to keep up with these things like I hope to. We haven't been messing around, I promise. We've been working. Alright, so let's throw a couple foundations in here. And I have not seen any signs of swarming. Let's just check a little bit. Oh wow, what a great larva frame. We'll rotate this one up. Yeah, holy smokes. These hives are fixing to blow up. And that's why they have to have the space. You know, I want to try something different. We're going to stick 3 empties in the middle here. I normally wouldn't do that, give that much blank space, but it has been hot. Boy, it is hot today. Humid. We are going to stick these 2 together. I definitely want these together. And we're going to keep them more towards the side over here where those other frames are, so the heat coming off the bottom frames is going to come up. Now, again, this is one of those things where you have to kind of keep an eye on what your temperatures are going to be like. It's supposed to be hot with a side of scorching the next few days. So I don't have to worry about that. But those of you who have hives this big that, again, are up in northern states or even in Canada or other countries, thanks for watching, by the way. We do things different here in Tennessee, and I imagine you need to do things a little bit different there. Alright, and doggone if it's not the frame feeder again. Alright, so if you want to just keep that feeder in there, which is perfectly fine, you can kind of fit 9 in there. It's really hard once they turn them into combs. Usually we'll run a feeder with 8 combs fully drawn out, and that works out really good for us. Fly, bees. Get in there. Make some more combs. Shoot. Get out of the way. Alright, last but not least, my goodness, someone turned the air conditioning on. I think what you're going to find interesting, though, is when we start inspecting these for mites in the fall, early fall, late summer really, how many mites are back in these hives. And I think maybe the most important information that we will show you might be coming up here in the next few weeks when we get into the dearth period, because that changes the dynamics of everything, especially on a colony that is young. They don't have the surplus resources, they don't have enough honey stored up, they don't have enough bee bread. And if you have a strong dearth like we do, they can really go backwards. And the varroa mite populations just keep going up, and varroa mites feed on bee protein and fat. It's a bad combination. Immune system's down. Whew, lots of larvae. Oh, and there's the queen. Green dot down there. Alright, well, we're leaving her down. Oh, goodness. Wow. This side's better. Alright, let's get a larva frame and just finish this one off. So good, they're not to the point of swarming. That's one I think we rotated in last time. It's got all kinds of eggs in it, so that'll be fine. That'll be larva pretty soon. Alright, so we're going to take this one on the edge that they've started drawing. We're going to rotate this one in. Some of the bees are in the way. You know what? And see, what's going to happen is, again, this edge frame is not going to get drawn all the way. But once they've started drawing these really good, we can rotate those outward. As the population gets bigger, they'll be able to cover things better. Rotate these in towards the center. Make sure our combs get drawn really good. And really, this is all there is to it. It's just part of keeping up with your bees, but literally, these hives have so much brood in them. We didn't go through them really good. You can, there's no need to really, But they have so much brood. That one good capped frame of brood is probably going to hatch out somewhere around 4,000, 5,000 bees. And then there's other frames in there that are going to be hatching out. We're getting more bees every day. So 10 days from now, if the queen's laying 1,000 eggs a day right now and able to get those into cells, that's 10,000 new bees in 10 days. If she's laying 1,500 eggs, well, I mean, that's a lot more. And of course, we're losing bees every day too. Some of the forager bees are not making it back because they're just getting so old and wore out. And you'll see some dead bees occasionally on the entrance, especially after some rain or something like that. Whew. You will see some dead bees out on the entrance because they'll just die in the hive. And you see some of those end up dying in the feeder occasionally. Now, that's something I really wanted to talk about. I think we'll do a video on that as well. But there's been a couple people that, you know, they don't like to see any old bees die in their feeders. And I don't either, but occasionally it does happen. You see a few down in there, especially on those days where they're not able to fly out. They're just doing whatever they can to help the colony, and they just perish in the feeder, a couple of them. So you can, instead of using floats, some folks will take some hardware cloth or some screen, and you can make yourself little ramps and little dealios. The best thing to do is just buy a feeder that already has those in it. You can look at Motherlode products, and I'm not affiliated with anybody, but Motherlode, Dadent, Man Lake, a lot of those companies have these type of frame feeders, but they have a cap and ladder system and a few other things that you can use. But Motherlode has some really good prices and some really good products. Check them out. Always, thanks for watching our videos. If you have any comments or questions on what we did or what we didn't do, or why I haven't shaven or cut my hair, well, that's because we're working the bees. Working. Thanks for watching our videos so much.